Biology, Part 182. Number 3. Reproduction. Asexual reproduction by the leaves is common. In bryophyllum, completely new plants are formed at the leaf margins and drop off to become established nearby. Number 4. Support. The pea tendrils are modified leaflets which wrap round any available structure holding and supporting the branches of the pea plant. This is why the gardener provides canes with string or netting for his crop. Next, we've got the tutorial on uptake and transport in plants. Well, the plants absorb water and inorganic nutrients through their roots. These substances are needed in the leaves and other parts of the plants, which may be several meters distant. At the same time, carbohydrates produce the photosynthesis in the leaves must be transferred to the stem and roots for respiration, growth, and storage. Well, our tutorial describes the structure and mechanism involved in the uptake and transport or translocation of these chemicals from place to place. Before studying this process, we should be familiar with the anatomy of roots, stem, and the leaves as we describe it here. Well, the uptake by plant cells. A plant cell consists of living region called the protoplast surrounded by a non-living cell wall. Dissolved substance move freely through the primary cell walls because they have the loose structure with large spaces in matrix between the mesh of cellulose microfibrils. However, further movement of many chemicals is restricted by the outer membrane which surrounds the protoplast. Only a few substances, including water, dissolved gases, and inorganic ions, have molecules which are small enough to pass directly through the cell membrane. The movement of these substances takes place by diffusion and is described passive, meaning that it does not require energy released by living cells. Diffusion is invariably a downhill process. That is, the molecules move along the concentration gradients from high to the low concentration. On the other hand, large molecules and the substances which move against their concentration. On the other hand, large molecules and substances which move against their concentration gradients must be transferred by active processes. These require a continuous supply of energy, usually obtained by hydrolysis of ADP in active transport molecules, and ions are pumped across the membrane by carrier proteins. Cellulose and other wall materials are extruded from plant cells by the exocytosis. When secretory vesicles fuse their outer membrane, the reverse movement endocytosis is rarely observed in plants. Osmosis and water potential. Water is normally drawn into the protoplast by osmosis. In biology, this process can be most usefully defined as the net movement of the water molecules from a less concentrated solution to a more concentrated solution across a partially permeable membrane. That is, across a membrane which allows the small solvent molecules of water to pass but prevents the movement of the large solute molecules. The relationship between the osmosis and the simple process of diffusion is illustrated in the figure. This shows that two containers of each of which is set up initially with a strong sucrose solution in the right hand compartment, separated by a barrier from a pure water in the left hand compartment. In the figure, the barrier is temporary and is removed without disturbing the two liquids. At the start of the experiment, The barrier is partially permeable membrane which remains in position throughout.